guests on their show.
Historic peace deal in Israel, Kamala Harris and Herbalife, more issues and controversy, and illegal immigrants can be deported in a landmark Supreme Court decision. All that and more coming up on today's Wade and Carter Show. And I comb my hair for the first time in months.
All that work.
Got to catch up. Hey, good morning.
It's Friday, folks, and I still like the guy. I'm telling you the truth. I still enjoy doing this with this knucklehead.
Let's do this.
Weather brought to you by Deerland Feed Store. We're telling you this week all about their fencing. You need gates, panels, hog wire, barbed wire,
Net wire,
T-post,
galvanized,
all kinds.
treated posts, cedar
steel,
posts.
cedar.
They've got it all.
Aluminum from Europe. Whatever you need, Deerland Feed. Hey, I like that. That sticks. Whatever you need.
It's Deerland Feed.
It's Deerland Feed. 79 degrees in Victoria, heading to a high today under sunny skies. 100 degrees.
Did you sneak a peek into the weekend?
We're going into a straight Nolan Ryan straight.
Yeah.
It's like 100.
I think Sunday 104 they were saying is the high.
Stay indoors or my hair looks amazing. Just noticed that. Some days
you're one of the few guys that can pull off a visor.
I am a good looking man. I appreciate you knowing that and being secure enough.
Didn't go that far. Just said you're one of the few guys that can pull off a visor.
I do like a visor. I like a visor. But I don't like it when my hair looks like, you've seen the visor where the guy has, it's really more of a cap, but it looks like a visor with gray hair. But now it's just me with brown hair. Same deal. I'm getting a haircut this weekend. So
you call that brown still?
It's
flecked with gray,
brown and pepper, brown and salt and tan.
It looks
black and tan. It's a salt and tan.
It almost looks like the flooring that you could get if you called USA Concrete Coatings.
Right.
That's fleck.
It's fleck. It's a fleck, and it's low grip. It's got a good grip. There have been so many times.
Won't peel, won't crack.
And sadly, more recently, where I have banged my dome on something, and had I not had hair, I'd be having stiff cheeks. When you hit it, your hair go like, oh, I just ripped out about 50 hairs.
I'm sure I've got a pretty good scar right at the top of my head. Growing up, we had a basement, and we'd always jump down the stairs, right? Well, I must have hit a growth spurt around the age of 12 or 13 because I jumped from my usual spot and I caught the little
where the roof comes down,
where the ceiling comes down. I caught the corner and I just remember going, I mean, it was like a good clothesline down, blood everywhere.
Then you just got some ups that you didn't have until you were 12.
I've never had ups. No, still have no ups.
Can't jump.
But the other thing Canadian kids did for fun in the winter was we'd
sniff glue.
Well, that. The other thing, there were 2. 3. Hockey, sniff glue.
2
and
15.
Actually, there were 4. Jump down the stairs to see if you could make it all the way down without catching a stair. Just see if you
shredding a knee.
Yeah, exactly.
Not be shredding.
You look back on this stuff. But the other one was we would do stuntman falls down the stairs.
Your mother, you can't stop that. I can hear Tina, stop it.
Quit running up and down the stairs. We're not running, Mom.
We're rolling.
Oh, Lord.
This Canadian flashback brought to you by Friends of Calgary.
Canadian.
Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Brought to you by
city.
The letters EHA. Canadian Sesame Street. Brought to you by the letter A.
EH. How about Flames, coals, ashes? Flames go down. Flames
5-4. They lose to Dallas. Scored early. Scored within the first minute.
5-4.
And lost 5-4.
Touch field goal and a safety. Very rare.
And a field goal and a missed convert or something.
Good morning, Amanda. Scotty Tomko, Scott Snow. Who else you got? Huh?
Let's
T-Lat's
see.
in.
Yep.
I know T-Lat.
David Glass, Christina Wise, Robin Moore Knipley, Marvin McCoosh, Karen Webb. Good morning, C.W. Bean, Judge Posey, Justin
morning,
Glass.
Judge. I missed the judge a couple of days this week. I'm not sure he was here.
He's been checking in. Yep.
Yeah,
Bobby
Scott,
Leister,
I
Leister
need a
Rubbers,
haircut.
still at 67.
67 tubers.
We got swag for
The only place we have more
100.
tubers is than Riverside Park. We've got a few more tubers than the Guadalupe down at Riverside. That's it.
Larry Leahy, Greg Garcia, Philip Barone, Miranda Tunches, Sheriff Louderback,
Miranda
Tunches, Chris Ray Brissett, Chris Conrad, good morning to you, H.R. Mallory, B.J. Nelson,
Miranda the Vampirus. I want to drink your blood.
Patrick Strauss, H.R. Mallory, Terry Murray, Monica Jost,
Terry Murray.
Dave Garza.
Do we know Terry Murray?
Yes. Fellow dog rescue enthusiast.
Just sounds like a really, really white person. Hi, I'm Terry Murray. I like that. I mean, Brent Carter. They think I'm like Dutch Irish or something, you know? I can't be a black guy.
Not with that name.
Brent.
Brent.
Can't pull that off. Lisa Poole.
What was the Brent equivalent in the 80s? Blaine.
Blaine. I've got a brother-in-law named Blaine.
Uh-oh. Need new battery in the mouse.
Uh-oh. The mouse.
The mouse just quit on me.
It's okay. Take it out. Let me show you something.
Turn it off, turn it on.
Kind of roll that.
Lisa
battery.
Poole, Jimmy Driscoll, Arthur O'Brien.
OB, what's up, OB?
So, where do you want to start this morning?
Well, I think we ought to talk about. I think that we ought to talk about the historic. Apparently,
It's getting no play.
Yeah, the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, have struck a peace deal with Israel that basically, in exchange for peace, Israel's going to quit trying to annex certain parts of the West Bank.
Which is a huge concession.
It's a huge concession. And I'll tell you, I told you coming in, it's so huge that had this happened on Barack Obama's watch, he would have immediately been given the Nobel Peace Prize.
And think about it. He got it for doing what? Basically basically promoting climate change.
That's it. That's what he did.
Or saying he was going to get us out of wars and never did. Right?
That's what he got the Peace Prize for that.
President Trump pulls us out of a bunch of regime change wars that we've been in for years, and he's chastised for it. You're going to destabilize the regions. You're going to give Putin all his advantages.
Right? There's Martine Pitts checking in. So all his administration does is broker their second big peace deal in the Middle East. When you think about the Afghanistan Taliban deal, it's a real deal. You know, President Trump said yesterday will allow Muslim, Jewish, and Christian lives to be saved. And the UAE immediately said, we will begin today sharing medical research with Israel, and together we believe we can develop a vaccine for coronavirus. And Israel is very, very cutting edge on medicine and medical advances. Give you an idea. Torrin Bell says a huge accomplishment. Huge. Main Street media hardly mentions it. You know why? Because it doesn't make Trump look bad. No. Forget that it would make Trump look good. They don't mention anything that doesn't make the man look bad. Think about, wasn't it? I think the only accomplishment Jimmy Carter made was getting Egypt and Israel to sit down in 1979 or 78, somewhere there, and Yasser Arafat. Remember him? Yeah, and agree. No, it wasn't Yasser Arafat. He was PLO. It was Anwar Sadat from Egypt. Who was the Jewish guy? Wasn't it Menachem Begin? Wasn't it? Menachem Begin. That means don't eat the bacon. That's got it. So, I mean that Egypt, and I believe a similar peace deal with Jordan. That's it for peace deals in the Middle East with Israel. This is the third one, and it's getting no play. Jimbo Slice has been to the West Bank a couple of times.
I'd be curious because James has been over there plenty of times. I'd like to get his take see if he's had any feedback from Israelis that he knows as to what sort of impact this has, how big a deal this really is.
I think your new radio name is Menachem.
So, Jimbo, if you want to give us a ring, 361-575-9509. We get a few minutes before the break. We can take a real quick synopsis of what this means for Israel and the Middle East from your perspective.
Our man on the ground.
Look at that.
Well, you don't have to
Ask and you shall receive.
He's like an old lap dog. You don't have to call him twice. He's here.
Unlike a dog with no legs, it
What's
won't
up,
come
Slice?
if you call him. Good morning, Wade and Carter.
Are you ignoring us?
We got nothing there. Did I push the button?
Thought you did. Call back, Jim.
I don't know what's going on. Everything looks good.
Looks good.
Looks good. Did we not push this button?
I did. It was green. Remember, you could hear the static.
So, looking to see if there's anything.
He says he had anybody up over there. That was like the phantom call. It wasn't him.
Okay.
Maybe it was Menachem.
He says he hasn't hit anyone up over there yet.
Well, don't be lazy.
Yeah. What's your take on it, though, James?
Is it a
We
big
can take
deal?
that. Is it a big deal?
Scale of 1 to 10. Is it Nobel Peace Prize worthy for Trump?
2 in a year, I think that would pretty much put you in the running for a Nobel Peace Prize, wouldn't it?
Pompeo guy has been busy.
Has been. So.
Oh, what about the other thing? We'll talk about it after the break because
Yeah.
it's almost, we kind of snoozed through the first segment.
Well, just to give you an idea, the details will be fleshed out over the next couple of weeks, but what they're going to meet on is tourism, investment, direct flights, because direct flights have been banned, security, technology, other issues. It'll allow Muslims the opportunity to visit traditional Muslim areas in Jerusalem's Old City. It'll allow flights into Tel Aviv and exchange ambassadors and embassies. I mean, this is big, a lot of symbolic stuff, but a lot of things that help the daily lives of people in that region.
All politics is symbolic.
And like you mentioned, and I think probably maybe as big a part of this is the work on a vaccine.
Right.
Nobel Prize for sure if it holds up, according to Jimbo Slice. We've seen these sorts of things start between them and then just tail out. So
falling out.
I don't know. I Tommy Yaw says this is a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10.
There you go. What
Tom
Dave
Bryant?
Price say down there? Is he on the same subject?
Can't you all get the LSU coach on the morning show just to hear his voice?
Go Tigers.
Jeff Fonseca says he may need Allen's. Uh-oh. Jeff, call him 578-6300.
6,300.
That's the number.
And by the way, 24/7. Rain, shine. Trust me, they're better than the United States Postal Service. 7 days a week. I've seen the postal trucks on the back of Allen's trucks. I've never seen Allen being towed around by the Postal Service. 578-6300. Allen's will be there. Yeah, Coach Orgeron, I will do that. I will reach out to him and say, all I want you to do is give us a promo. Welcome to Wade College Show. Go Tigers. That's what I want. I want the guy to call us. That's what he sounds like.
That's exactly what he sounds like.
It's unbelievable.
You do that well.
Now, all you have to do is just kind of think gravelly. All right, go Tigers.
Speaking of
BCS
graveling,
companies?
yeah, Rocket Oilfield Services can certainly improve your gravel drive to your
doubt.
ranch.
Help you with a gate, solar panel. You pull up, you home link it, boom, the gate opens. You don't have electricity out there, no problem. Put a solar panel on it. They've got a battery. It can be a remote gate. It's easy. You don't even need a fence. Start small. Just put the gate in over the road. Just let it be a pasture.
Well, because here's the reality. That gate will be the cheapest component of any fence you build.
There you go. The VCS companies, Rocket Oilfield Services, will come out and put it in. While you're there, get you a new AT&T. I read a deal yesterday on the new Ford Bronco, and they now have, it's just a little thing. You just throw your phone in there, and it charges? With it, wireless, which we've had that technology, but you always have to lay it flat. Now you just throw the thing into a little holder.
Wow.
And it's all Bluetooth
cool.
up, so you don't lose service of your phone. The new Bronco, they've got about 5 different deals.
Packages, yeah.
You can't buy them at Hour, so what are you talking about? SCT building system.
Well, you can after somebody else bought it.
Right.
and
You'll
then
buy
they do.
your first used Bronco at Ansonoff. SCT building 564-8864. Clayton and KCL.
I think that patio cover that I've passed every day is finalized. They've got like a little bit of siding. It looks nice. Not quite a facade, flashing maybe.
Right.
Tied it into the trim on the house. Looks really nice.
Cool. SCT did that.
SCT did that. They've got downspouts. They've got it over the roof, so they didn't have to waste money with a downspout on the back. It goes
Right.
on the roof and into that.
Very nice.
Into the trough, the gutter that's already on the eaves trough that's already on the house.
Sounds like Casey was involved helping design that.
Helping place it.
Clayton just does it.
This thing will still be standing if a Category 5 blows through
That's what you
Victoria.
want.
The
You have
house
to-
may not be.
right, but
the patio cover ain't going
cover's
anywhere.
gonna Be there. That's
now,
awesome.
Yeah. Now the next call they need to make is the USA Concrete Coatings, so they can take that concrete slab that it's over top and make it
that
look real
patio
good,
looks
slip
nice.
resistant, won't peel, won't crack.
Very nice. It would look so good, and it's not expensive, and it's lasts forever. Hypoallergenic, all this doesn't antimicrobial,
Antibacterial.
doesn't hold anything. Hypoallergenic, yeah, it's better words.
Close.
Hydrochloroquine.
Yeah, it's got that built into
Just
it.
do it. You just lick it, and you don't get COVID. It's that good. Chesnick Furniture, 116 West Juan Lynn, the corner of Juan Lynn and Bridge. Get down to Chesnick because you just do better. You just do better at Chesnick. Chesnick and Love make your house a home. They've got furniture 50% off right now, celebrating 100 years in downtown Victoria.
What are they going to do for the 101st anniversary?
50% off all furniture. I don't know, maybe 51%. Greg
Clayton
Garcia
Help,
says
good
he
morning
wants
to
some
you.
barbecue this week.
Yeah.
There's Clayton Help. Good morning.
We'll tell you where to go next break, Greg.
Now, I like it when our I was going to say fans, our friends pull us through this. Pull us through. They're like, please stop talking about hockey. Can we talk about Allen's Record Service? It's tough.
Jeff Fonseca thinks he has a leaky hose.
That's not
a
good.
different problem.
You know what? A leaky hose is one thing. A busted hose is another. A leaky hose is God's way of saying, please fix this now.
Yeah.
What was the other thing we were going to talk about? We were going to talk about.
Well, the Supreme Court yesterday
It's
was
a big
7-2.
deal. This is a big deal. People.
7-2 ruling. Even Ruth Bader Ginsburg
Ruth Gator Binsburg.
ruled on this one that the federal government can deport illegal aliens, including those seeking asylum, quickly and with only limited judicial review. So basically, they can quickly determine these claims are bogus, and these people can be
You
removed
show
from the
up here
country.
from Guatemala, and you claim you're seeking political asylum. There has been heretofore a lengthy process. The government can't just say, "Ixnay, see ya." They've had to kind of take you in, house you, feed you, tolerate your kids before they determine if you're going to get asylum or be asked to leave. Now they can say, "Nope, we're all full up. Have a good day. See you later."
Bye.
I like it a lot.
Supreme Court saw no issues with it. 7-2 ruling.
There you go.
I didn't see who voted against it, but I'm going to guess John Roberts.
I thought it was ours.
Would have been one of them.
Matt Oker says, can we talk Austin defunding police? You got any data?
$150 million. City Council in Austin voted to cut the funding of Austin City Police by that much.
And what is this? What are we really doing? Are we being punitive? Are we like saying, that'll teach them? That'll teach them because there's like one bad cop in Austin. So we're just going to take $150 million out of the budget that protects all of us just to show them we can. Is that what that's all about? Are they using that money to fix potholes? Are they using that money to feed the homeless? What are they doing with that money? What logic would anybody employ other than trying to be spiteful to the police? Why would you defund the police? They got too much money, man. That's why they're beating on people. The two things don't make any sense. It ain't like the cops are getting rich.
$430 million budget is what they had. according to Matt.
And
I
that
don't know.
might be way
just,
too much money. That might be way too much money. I'm not saying that they're not spending too much money. Well, you know that we've spent time with the sheriff and all that.
I would say that Austin isn't spending enough money if they just let happen in downtown Austin what's happening.
Right.
But
well, I'm just going with the logic. I know
yeah.
Matt's really conservative. Matt's kind of probably an anti-taxation guy on things. So he's like, $280 million is a lot of money, and he's probably right. But the logic of taking it, if it's money that made sense in last year's budget, and all of a sudden we're going to rip out $150 million.
Population of Victoria 65,000. Our police budget 16 million.
Crazy.
So, from that perspective, I don't know enough about Austin's budget situation and all that to really dive into it. I found it interesting that Governor Abbott vowed to allow or to use DPS troopers and personnel to fill the void. So, in essence, Austin's throwing an unfunded mandate back on the state.
Yeah, because that's exactly right. Because it happens to be the state capital.
Yeah, which I thought was interesting.
Well, what's everybody else going to do?
Well, where are you going to find? And I don't know the numbers, but I'm thinking if 150 million, and I'm going to guess most of that's personnel, which tells me maybe Austin police are overpaid.
Right.
But if you're looking at mostly personnel, where are you going to find?
You're not. Who's going to sign up to work for less money to take more abuse from the idiots in Austin?
Well, they're not hiring that kind of people now, though, in those numbers, right?
Going to cut jobs. That's what's going to happen.
Johnny Otten says the majority of police budgets goes to salary, so defunding any police organization basically means cutting persons. Exactly.
Christopher Conrad says, I'd be moving massive amounts of resources to every city that's defunding police if I was into organized crime. Makes sense.
Yep.
If you've got 10 cops on the street at any given moment saying Victoria, and all of a sudden they defund and now you got 4, okay, well, how are you going to catch everybody? And the vast majority of the law-abiding people in Victoria are the ones that suffer. And so if you have to cut 6 cops out of 10 in Victoria, all 6 would be pretty good people that are getting cut. But in theory, you might get rid of 1 cop that didn't need to be there, but you had to fire 5 others over money. Stupid.
Matt Oker says patrol officers making north of $100K base salary in Austin. Seems a little excessive.
It does seem a little high.
Lisa Poole says, or Jimbo Slice says, blame it on the mayor and the city council, not on APD. And that's who gets caught in the middle of this. The police officers and those just trying to do their job on a daily basis.
Right. What Greg Garcia said.
Austin has become a wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Yes, I agree 100%. I love to have fun. We love to talk college sports. We love to cut up about a number of things, but I have been thoroughly pleased that my children all went to Texas A&M. It's never bothered me a bit that the kids were in College Station, as backwards as College Station tends to be. And they get excited. Oh, there's a new Raising Cane's. Woo! You know, it's like, come on, people. Fine dining is if you get the Chick-fil-A sauce.
3 weeks of mourning when there's a fire at the Dixie Chicken.
Right, absolutely. But Austin's a terrible, terrible city.
Matt Oker says, don't get me wrong, Austin sucks.
Bad. He says, I agree. As far as the city now, on the 40 acres, the University of Texas is a garden spot. It's beautiful. Loved it.
I first moved here and we loved going to Austin. I played a lot of rugby tournaments there. Yeah. They had the old Pecan Street Festival, all sorts of fun stuff.
I've never played a weekend there. I mean, it's like, hey, Dawn, where do you want to go? She's not going to say, let's go to Austin. Let's go down to 6th Street. That's over. Now, West 6th on down the hill towards Lamar, there's some nice restaurants, and there is some great, great dining in Austin, but you've got that seedy, and I can remember being in Sacramento as a kid and just being unimpressed at the people that just laid around on the state capitol grounds, just trashy, worthless folks. And now I'm like, okay,
it's Austin.
Now they're in Austin. It's terrible. They probably moved over here because the taxes were better.
Jimbo Slice brings up a good point. While all the cops are dealing with protests, that's a great time for other nefarious activities to take place. It's sort of the diversion that's
right. What did BJ
allowing
say?
some of this to happen.
Right there.
You think corporate Austin will start leaving?
Yeah, I do. I think there's people that have decided not to relocate there because of,
except for Tesla.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, the right corporate, well, and the tech people have always been kind of disengaged from the rest of the world anyway.
Larry Lee says, unfortunately, Austin isn't cutting the city's budget. Yeah, I wonder, it'd be interesting to see. I kind of said this in jest last night, but if the state has the ability, if now Greg Abbott's going to pick up the tab for that $150 million shortfall, which I don't believe it's their responsibility,
right?
Then cut Austin's state appropriations, if there are any, by $150 million. Fine. You've got money to use for other issues that we would be funding. Here's $150 million that the state would give you for those areas, because now you've just freed up the money.
The whole impetus of this thing was defund the police was a protest cry. It was a protest against police violence.
Well, what's really interesting, it started off to stop funding police departments' purchases of military-like weapons and equipment, right?
Right.
And now it's just, let's just cut the budgets in half.
No, that's punishment.
I mean, there's no strategic planning as to why this happens. Seattle did the same thing. It's like they just pull a number out of their backside and say, well, this looks like a good number, let's cut it.
Yeah, Johnny Harton makes a good point, and I've seen this in other things too. Retirements are based sometimes on your last 5 years. What if you maybe get 60% of the average of your last 5 years of income. So you see guys try to work a lot of overtime to get that number up over $100,000 so they can retire on $60,000. So there's some of those abuses are real. Overtime, is time and a half. So basically 280, that 150 could be overtime money. Maybe they're just saying, hey, work your shift and go home.
Christina Wise says she works on 32nd and will live north. Do not go south of 32nd ever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If Christina's over there just north of the university, like 32nd and Duval, 32nd and Speedway, she's in a really nice part of Austin. You're kind of in the fringe of the Hyde Park area. It's very nice.
HR Mallory says they're short-staffed by about 100 officers, more retirements than expected this year. They have canceled their academies for the year. Chief has said he will have to put officers from specialized units to keep the response times down.
I lived in a house 1 year, maybe 2 years. I was there for a while. At 38, it was 3811. It was 38 and a half in Duval. And it was just a little old frame house. Man, we paid a bunch of money to live in that frame house because you could walk to campus.
Is there ever a house that isn't framed?
No. Well, I mean, there are. But it was just a, clapboard. I mean, it was just rough.
Larry Leahy says those rugby tournaments in Austin were awesome. They're always played at Zilker Park.
Dawn's flirting with me on that.
Those are always the best. The best kickoffs to the Texas Rugby Union season was the tournament in Austin. I will concur.
Budweiser. Who sponsored that deal? Molson?
No, I believe Foster's. What does Matt say? Why don't we have the fortitude to have an honest conversation about law enforcement doing a horrible job of policing its own? We can lament the reactionary policies, but the police themselves carry a massive amount of blame for the origin of this issue. I agree.
I can see that. I can see where
I can agree with that with some
peers.
Yep.
You're in a group with 5 or 6 cops, and one of them says, "You know what you did tonight was not right. If it happens again, I'm writing you up." I've got no problem with that. I don't know that doesn't go on. I always try to temper my thoughts, and this is just where my brain goes. I try to temper my thoughts about throwing blame at law enforcement, throwing challenges the law enforcement as if our friend Sheriff A.J. Louderback was standing right here, who I know to be an upstanding guy, who I know to be the kind of person that would hold an LE accountable. So before you throw out these blanket statements of, you guys need to police your own, which is something I do agree with, you have to look to the people that you know that are police. Roy Boyd's not going to tolerate that. He's not going to tolerate some guy getting, beat. So you have to figure out.
Victoria County didn't.
More and
fired
more,
the guy that tased that old man for making an illegal left turn.
And make no mistake, that old man had it coming. He did. I stood up for it then. I'll stand up for it again. That old man should have kept his old butt in his car with his mouth shut. He got out and he got tased. That's what happens. The law doesn't see, oh, he's just an old man. How do you know he's not an old man with a stick of dynamite up his butt? You don't know.
How do you know he's not an old man with Chuck Norris abilities?
Ha! Everybody was kung fu fighting. You don't know. We should do a show about what is Matt Oker ranting about this early in the morning?
We should do a show about the 1033 acquisitions of the VCSO. Let Mar explain why they have 2 saws.
What's a saw?
I don't know.
Sounds like a big time weapon.
I thought that was a.
So I'm going to tell you what 1033 acquisitions are. 1033 acquisitions are when you have the ability to acquire surplus military equipment.
Yeah, I knew
and
that.
a saw is going to be a
Special assault. No.
weapon. Special one.
I don't know.
It's a super. It's a super assault weapon, and it's super duper. Trump gave it to him. That's what happened.
What does Johnny Otten say? I guess the criminals all signed a memo of understanding that they won't use any what?
Military style
Oh,
equipment
yeah.
and weapons, so police don't require it either. Everybody is now using beanbag guns and pepper spray. I want my cops to be good cops, well paid, and I want them armed to the teeth.
Here's part of the problem, though. Remember when they used to just show up with 2 guys and a paper warrant, come and get you?
Right.
And then the feds started showing up with.
Now everything's a standoff,
Yeah.
though.
Then the feds started showing up like they did with Roger Stone. 8 vehicles, squadron of like 30, all armed and ready to fill them full of lead.
Hello, Gil Garcia. I saw you the other day somewhere on our roads. Jimbo Slice points out the truth. Whether you're 13 or 73, you can still pull a trigger. When that old man got out and disrespected the officer and went into the business, how do you know he didn't go in? How do you know he didn't have a warrant for his arrest for murder in Houston and he went in there to pick up a 38 and come back out and shoot that cop in the face? You don't know. And if I'm an officer and I tell you to stand right there, you need to stand right there. That's what needs to happen. You don't like it? Call a lawyer.
I'll give you an interesting story from my father-in-law, who was RCMP. During the day on patrol, they had their service weapons. They were required to put them in their briefcase, leave them in their patrol cars. During the day. At night, they could carry them with them because there was more criminal activity at night and more dangerous situations. That all changed when 2 RCMP in Canada, I think it was in the 70s, went to serve a warrant, and as they were making their way to the house, unarmed, because they were required to leave their sidearms in their briefcases in the police car.
Mm-hmm.
Got filled full of lead as they were walking to the door to serve that warrant. That's when the RCMP were then allowed to wear their sidearms at all times. So, it was reactionary
to take a pay cut to put themselves in harm's way and then disarm them. A squad automatic weapon, Matt Oker points out, and Jimbo says it's a belt feed machine gun. I find it hard. I'm trying to picture Barney Fife with the belt feed machine gun.
They only give him one bullet.
Yeah. I've always wanted one of those. Well, General Electric made it. The General Electric machine gun that was mounted like on an F4. The
Gatling gun?
Yeah, like 50,000 rounds a minute. You could, defoliate a forest with it. Yeah. BJ says, who uses those? They can't ever use real guns. What day? September 10th. Is that the day that we're having BJ Nelson in here?
I think so. Well, maybe a little bit earlier so we can talk about it and get
Oh,
people
she'll
to
be
come
in here
out.
to talk.
Yeah.
But we're going to have
September
her in
10th
the
is the
parking
voter
lot.
registration.
It's going to be
Day.
it's going to be a circus. Brother Gary, it just enthusiastically agreed to be the MC, host, greeter. He'll give you that. Hey,
Jimbo Slice says, remember when Bonnie and Clyde got gunned down
right
by the
by
coppers?
the Victoria County Sheriff's Office.
They ran away from them.
Right.
Oh, Lord.
You know that's how Brother Gary will be, don't you? Hey, how you doing? You'll have his Brother Gary pin on.
Johnny On says, people don't remember history. Remember the LA bank robbers that had all the body armor on
Yes.
and automatic weapons?
Johnny
all the-
Clark said a lot.
All the police had were pistols and shotguns. Yeah, it was interesting. I remember when that.
I think I'd like to hear an electric machine gun that making a bunch of you just making a humming sound.
Well, if it's like an electric vehicle, would you even hear it?
Right. Like a Tesla machine
Yeah.
gun. Or how about a Tesla with a machine gun on it? Ashley Haeflin, there's one of the best cooks I know. What is it? Can you imagine?
Can you imagine if Roscoe P. Coltrane and Enos had a belt-fed gun?
No kidding. It's in Duke Boy.
Duke boys would never got away.
Cut them in half. I guess that's why they call it a saw.
Well, but here's the other thing. Would those bullets have stopped at the county line like the Hazard County police cars used to so the Dukes could get away?
Right, the Dukes always got away.
There'd just been a wall and the bullets just would have
Never broke a bottle of shine either.
never. They never had a bottle of shine.
BJ Nelson says we need an easy up. We need a pop-up tent. So we're going to have what I like about BJ, she is shameless. Like, can somebody donate this? I like that. And that's good. That's how you get things done. We need a pop-up, easy up. By the way, it can be from your company with your brand on it. We don't care. Advertise. Don't have to pay us anything. Come out here, put your easy up so we can keep BJ out of the sun. And she's going to do voter registration. There's going to be a circus-like atmosphere. Brother Gary's going to be here. We're going to have T-Lab. We're going to have
I'm going to have to ban you from your phone.
we're going to have T-Lab. T-Lab will probably be here too. I'll try to work that out. But she made me lose my train of thought, which is not easy.
Yeah, we're going to have a voter registration event. BJ Nelson's working on getting breakfast.
Brother Gary's
here.
here waving at people.
Really nothing to MC with this thing.
No,
we'll be
perfect
doing that
for
here.
him.
Yeah, that's a Thursday, September 10th. Voter registration drive.
Yeah, and what happens is you come in, you sign your form. We'll fill out your ballot for you.
In fact, bring your ballots.
Bring your ballots, sign them, and just turn them into us. No, when you come in and you fill out your voter registration form, BJ is a voter registrar. She'll get it turned in that day for you. And then you're eligible to vote in this very important election in November.
There's the marketing slogan for Victoria. Forget bring your boots, bring your ballots.
Bring your ballots. Come on in. We're a community that votes in sync.
Yeah. Final thought on the whole defunding police, because it was real interesting. I knew a sociologist who worked for the Calgary Police Department back when I lived in Calgary. He was not a KGB operative like I was.
Right.
But there were studies, and we were talking about this because he also was a professor at the local college.
He was an idiot savant as well.
Not at all,
Randomly.
actually. Yeah, no. Not at all. But it was interesting. He said, there were studies done, and I don't know where these studies have happened, but the police obviously didn't listen to them. But that more patrol officers resulted in better policing, less crime.
Right. It's called a deterrent.
And we stopped doing that. They stopped walking the beat. They stopped patrolling like they used to.
The
studies used to show that if you walked the beat, patrolled your section, or your district, whatever they call them in various cities,
Precinct.
your precincts,
If
you had better police outcomes when you had patrol officers walking the beat. And walking the beat was sort of, that was the term, but they could be just cruising through in patrol cars,
and
what
if
have you.
Moonwalk the beat.
Then you're having a better
popular
outcome
in the school.
Yeah.
There's no doubt that the deterrent side works. If a police officer drives by through a neighborhood once every hour, then there's about 45 minutes in there where people that have bad intentions can do things they want to do. If a police officer drives by every 15 minutes, there's not much bad that can get done. What do you read?
BJ Nelson says Bomb Diggity is bringing food on September 10th.
I like the idea of a sandwich board with Jimbo Slice standing on the corner. Not to mention, Jimbo Slice can probably craft that sandwich board. Don't make it too heavy. He's getting older.
Hooker said when he was a kid, he had an interesting conversation with a cop that was opposed to AC in patrol cars.
Yeah, and I know where that conversation went, Matt. With the windows down, you're more in tune to your environment. You're more in tune to your neighborhood, and you're more likely to see a kid go, "Hey, buddy, you doing okay? Stay safe on the sidewalk." If you're a cop driving around with the windows up, smoking cigarettes, talking to your girlfriend on your cell phone, you're less likely to be aware of what's going on around you, and you're less likely to engage. You become a symbol of the separation of the police from the community. I believe, and I am biased, I believe that VPD does an outstanding job of being in the right places at the right time. As far as at large charity events, they are there. There's a presence. They greet people. They look sharp in their uniforms. I mean, I'm very pro law enforcement.
Does that deter crime?
I think what it does is it makes the more approachable you can make your police department, the more likely people are to say, "Hey, I've got a problem," and the first thing they think of is calling the police. I think that's a good thing when they need that. I think our police department's in good shape.
They don't want that anymore. What's interesting in this whole defund the police argument is, you remember in Portland, Seattle, we'll just get social workers to fill the void. Nobody ever asked the social workers.
I'm going to tell you what, if you're breaking into my house, I ain't calling Pat Talley. Just telling you. Pat, can you come over? Are you a Republican? No, I can't make it.
Let's be honest, even police. If somebody's breaking into your house, by the time, was that mine? It was.
Oh, yeah.
Bob Popular,
my guest host, Bob Popular.
Usually by the time you dial 911 or somebody dials 911 and the police show, they're gone.
Right.
The folks breaking into your house. I mean, that's just the numbers. Break-ins don't last forever because they've usually cased the joint. They're figuring out, they know what they want. They know how to get in, get out. Police take 5 to 7 minutes to respond on average or longer.
Right.
And they're in, they're gone.
Look, Adam Daughtry, bless his heart, says Port Lavaca cops never wave back when you wave at them. Can you see Adam out there, grown man? He's like, come on, trucker. Come on back and talk to Teddy Bear. And the next thing you knew, there was a whole line of trucks just giving Adam a ride. Folks, you got to give me the laugh button on that because you're laughing. That's funny. If you're over 35, you know what I'm talking about.
The funny thing as a kid, that was one of the things we had a
nobody gave me the laugh button. That was funny.
You people had to wake up. LMAO.
Come on back and talk to Teddy Bear.
Crowchild Trail was the 1A highway through Calgary, and it was just up the road.
What was it called?
The 1A highway, Crowchild Trail.
Crowchild
Trail.
Crowchild. It's named after, I'm assuming the Indian.
Yes.
Crowchild.
Yeah.
Okay.
First Nations, Indigenous.
And then there was Crowchild Nuts Circle.
No, there's a Deerfoot Trail.
There you go. Those crazy Canucks.
So,
welcome, Canadians.
Yeah. And a Blackfoot Trail.
Blackfoot Trail.
So anyway, we'd go stand on the corner and get the truckers to honk, and you'd get to know the same ones. And then the ones that would never
flip them off
the next time. Yeah,
nice.
You get to know them after a couple of times. That's how we had fun. That's how we had fun as kids and growing up in Canada.
It's a Friday, and I've been laying my heart out here for you guys all week, and I just don't think it's asking too much every now and then to get one of those little laughy faces. It's just not. At some point, this has got to be about me. What if somebody decided defund Wade and Carter? What? Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. What are we going to get? We pay to be here. It's been pointed out in media on a paid radio program. It's
well, your mom pays.
You're stupid, and you put it in writing.
At least your mom had enough confidence in both of us. My mom sitting on the sidelines doing nothing.
My mom, I've seen the check, and when my mom writes the check to Magic, she always writes, "Love Ash." It's like it's got nothing to do with me.
Iceman, well, let's get to our break because we probably need to roll 2 breaks into one here.
We can do it real quick. Hey, it's Friday. Nobody cares if we do a break or not. Veracruz, today's the last day of the week for Veracruz, 576-6015. Get to Veracruz, do it. I mean, Leonida.
How long before Leonida just say, lunch only on Fridays?
Right. We're only open from 11 to 11:45. Yeah. Try to be here early. Veracruz, do it. Razor IT Solutions. I talked to JP, none this week. Very rare. He's been swamped busy. Analytics, dealing with people's website presence, helping people collect money over the internet, helping their money deal with their QuickBooks, all the things that he does while he can tell you who's trying to get into your encryption. Who's
keeping those Nigerian bank scams away from you.
Why they got to be Nigerian?
Because they always are.
Razor IT Solutions, reach out to him. I just want to accuse you of something.
Defund
Ash. Defund.
The fifth uncle twice removed from the Crown Prince of Nigeria. That's how those letters always start.
Yes. He sent me $50 million. All I need from you is $100,000.
Well, he died and is sitting in a trust that nobody can find the next heir.
It's got to be true.
You have 5 uncles and you can't find an heir. There's got to be a bunch of cousins out there somewhere.
Your name was on the bottom left of that envelope, and they want you to have this money. Just send me $100,000.
Publishers Clearinghouse, buy these magazines.
Unbelievable. Ads and offer dealerships. It's 1926. It blows my mind. Now, I'll tell you what really you have to learn. The folks don't age. So you don't know this. Tommy Taylor is actually 64 years old.
Really?
Yeah, you just don't know it.
Fountain of Youth is that
He's aged very well. He's aged well. Tommy Taylor is in the succession line. He's the guy. Milton Greason, Mr. Bully Greason, Mr. Ed Atzenhofer. You go all the way back to 1926.
And you don't have to go that far to buy a car. You can go straight to Atzenhofer.com.
Right there on the Miracle Mile, right there where they're stacking them deep, selling them cheap, just down the road from high prices.
On the Navarro Motor Mile.
There you go. Get there. Westheimer West.
White Trash Services, 550-1826 for all your trash collection needs, from roll-off dumpsters for large projects to weekly dumpster collection to just your weekly curbside trash collection. They can do it all.
They've taken over for the Bloomington ISD, and they've also expanded into the Rockport and Holiday Beach area. A great family business, great friends of the show, and great friends to Victoria. Tireless donation type folks, whether it be Go Texan or voter registrar or being a delegate. They just great family.
When they expand into Cabo San Lucas, we'll know that BJ's on the road to retire.
I will be there as well. GDP Techs, our buddy Dwayne Proctor, 550-4744. He does your laptop stuff, and we'll do the other break right at the end of the show. That's how you know that you can hang around. Fund some merchandise. We're working on merchandise. By the way, Compadres Design Inc. does a great job with all of our swag and stuff, and it is on the way. This banner, I've had compliments on this banner, like it very, very much, and special thanks to the Hartmans for that. But
you've been the one giving yourself all the compliments on the banner. But
I have said that we're doing a great job on that. You can even see the subtle VCS logos. It looks better in person, even. That's what I'm telling you. Unlike me and Ash.
Joe Gomez says that's back in the day of bears in the air and bears in plain brown wrappers.
Right? Exactly.
Trucker lingo.
Trucker lingo. You gotta like it.
It's a big 10-4 smoking.
Are we gonna get in trouble for that one?
No.
If I play that, is that public domain stuff?
I don't know. It might be now. You trying to find it?
It's so old. Is that Red Sovine? Is that his name?
Yeah, I think so. C.W. McCall. Those
no,
right?
C.W. McCall was the guy that did Convoy. A negative there, puppy trucker, back off another two. He was that guy.
Adam Daughtry says back in the day, 20 CDs for 99 cents.
You remember Little Joe? He used to do Little Joe too.
Christy Henry checking in.
Remember Giddy Up Go?
I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know what you're doing over there.
Every now and then we get chastised by people for not doing
What?
It's just called Sad Song Teddy Bear by Red Sofa.
It's sad.
Hang on, folks. Just bear with us.
You got to turn your
We'll
volume
go
up
over.
on that. And put the ear speaker there.
I was on the outskirts of a little southern town.
This goes out to Adam
I
Daughtry.
reached my destination before the sun went down. The old CB was fired away on Channel 19.
Oh, the old breaker one
There
night.
came a little boy's voice on the radio line.
Adam Daughtry.
And he said quicker one night, is anyone there? Come on, black truckers, and talk to Teddy Bear. Well, I keyed the mic and I said, you got it, Teddy Bear.
It was Joe
And
Biden.
the little boy's voice came back on the air. Appreciate the break. Who we got on that end?
Joe Biden.
I told him my handle, and then he began. Now, I'm not supposed to bother you fellas out there.
That's enough of that.
I'm saying,
Just saying.
What would Joe's handle be if he was a trucker? Sleepy Joe? Not a good one if you're behind him.
Sniffles.
Yeah.
Sniffles Biden.
Johnny Houghton says we need criminals down here like they have in Portage la Prairie, Manitoba. 2 police cars, one marked, one unmarked. Showed up at a disturbance. Criminal took off running when he saw the marked car, ran right into the unmarked car, jumped in the back seat, asked him to take him over to the 17th Street. Thought he was hopping into a cab.
Nice.
They took him right to the police station.
The other day was Joe and the Hoe.
Yeah.
I saw one called Dumber and Hummer. That made me laugh. Now, unless you think that Red Sovine found something that worked and just went with it, if that's what you might think, I'll give you this little offering from one of his later hits. If it plays.
Oh, Lord.
Just hang on. Just bear with me. It's a Friday. We're going to go over today, folks. Don't panic.
the highways that wind and wander over mountains, valleys, deserts, and plains.
You wonder why suicide was high in the 60s?
Yes, I've drove about all
70s.
No, not 70s.
25 years now. The cab of the truck has been my home. And it'd be kind of hard for me to
Okay, I'm sorry.
Nothing even rhymed in there.
No, it's not. It's just,
It's just talking
it's just,
with Floyd Kramer on the piano.
right. Right. Or Mickey Gilly back in the day. Giddy up, go, Daddy. Giddy up, go. See, Adam knew it. Giddy up, go. Come on back and talk to Teddy Bear.
NHL scoreboard from last night. Stars beat the Flames 5-4. Blue Jackets tied up at 1-1 with Lightning 3-1 winners.
Bobby Leister says, shoot me now. Bobby, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
See, that makes you people appreciate the greatness that we give you 5 days a week when I just mail it in. That's like a Paul Pulasic press conference right there.
Golden Knights beat the Blackhawks in overtime 4-3. Bruins lost to the Hurricanes 3-2. There's your Stanley Cup update.
Yawn.
Jimmy Simpson's excited. Columbus tied it up.
I don't follow it anymore. I don't care, but I do think it is newsworthy because I used to care for a lot of these years. First time in 23 seasons, Ash, that the San Antonio Spurs don't make the playoffs. Just goes to show they play better in front of a crowd.
Probably. Might be the final season of Greg Popovich as the head coach of the San Antonio Spurs. I mean, if you're Peter Holt,
Pop will leave on his
Is
own
it time?
terms, but he may have some discussion about when he should leave. Speaking of beating the crowd, you've got all weekend to get to Uncle Mutt's Barbecue. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They're open 7 days a week.
they open around 11 in the morning.
Whenever they get around to it, but usually about 11. That's fair. Get by. Brisket, ribs, sausage, chicken, turkey.
Well, it's
the
not just
side
fair, it's
dishes.
right on the door.
That's what they do. They advertise it. They live up to it. Uncle Mutt's is just simply the best barbecue in town, and without any compromise, the most giving group of folks when it comes down to Warriors weekend or school events, all that. There's nobody close to Uncle Mutt's Barbecue. Gray Barn Design. Reach out to Cheryl for all your design needs. Your next party,
920-6803 is the number to call.
parties, events, weddings, reunions. 920-6803. Our buddies at Went Electrical, Went Services, Went Generators. You need a generator? You do need a generator. That was a statement, not a question.
Nope.
Reach out to them.
Not even a suggestion.
Solar panels with battery
It was
backups.
an order.
Get over to Went. Go Tigers. Reach out to Went. You'll be thrilled with the results. And then, of course, USA Concrete Coatings, 578 Home. Charlie Garcia will come out. While he's there, you're going to go, man, my garage floor looks so good. I want to go ahead and put something, the front of my house is tan. I want to put something with the brown fleck in it on my front porch, the back patio. I want that to be a little brighter because that's where the kids have their parties. Reach out to them today. 578 Home. As always, we really appreciate all of our
we do.
sponsors. Very, very much.
So
very,
how about-
very much.
I saw a Rasmussen survey, and again, I'm not a big fan of the political surveys, but this one was interesting. 59% of voters in this country, according to the Rasmussen survey, don't think Joe Biden will get through the first term if he's elected.
Right. So how can you in good conscience vote for that guy?
49% of Democrat voters don't believe he's going to get through the first term if elected. Half of Dems don't believe it.
87% of Republican voters are really scared to death Donald Trump might make it through a second term.
Well, 87% of the Republican Party is probably scared to death.
What do you do with what do you do with Mike Pence? Is Mike Pence, is he the game changer in this election cycle? Does Mike Pence need to get more vocal? I think Mike Pence is a guy with credibility. I think he seems to be a really fine man.
You know, it was interesting because I think previous polls showed like 79% of voters overall believe the vice president choice can influence the decision of who they vote for.
Right.
It was interesting because a large percentage of Democrats didn't think that Joe Biden's running mate would have any influence on their decision making on whether or not to vote for Joe Biden or not.
Isn't that interesting? So they're saying, well, if he would have, like we don't know who to take, but if he would have picked Michelle Obama, they wouldn't say, oh, I'm definitely voting because we like Michelle Obama.
Wouldn't have made a difference.
Wouldn't have made a difference. That's
I
interesting.
thought that was interesting.
I think that's naive.
Just to give you an idea, a little bit more, the character of Kamala Harris. 800 complaints to the California Attorney General's office in San Diego about Herbalife.
Remember when that was a big deal? Herbalife, multi-level marketing, vitamins, laxatives.
Corrupt marketing practices they were accused of. The Attorney General's office in San Francisco did an investigation, wrote a big letter to Kamala Harris's office, said, hey, we need to investigate this. Other jurisdictions around the country did. She decided not to. 800 complaints in San Diego alone prompted that office to start looking into it. She said, nope, not going to do it. She just happened to get a huge donation.
Coincidence.
From a lobbyist firm whose one of the big clients was Herbalife. Her husband's law firm just happened to represent Herbalife.
Yeah.
So you wonder if she doesn't.
Christopher Conrad points out Pence-Harris VP one-on-one debate. Bring it. And I'll tell you why
It
that
will happen.
But here's why it'll be a problem for her. She's a bulldog. She's a prosecutor. She's an accuser. She's an antagonist. And he's not passive. He's just a nice guy. There is no dirt on him. There's nothing she can say. So she's going to have her hands full if she has to deal with the actual issues as pertains to Mike Pence. Adam Daughtry said, I can see Mike Pence having a chance in 24. I think you're going to see Congressman Jim Jordan run for president in 24.
I don't think Pence has a chance in 2024. No. I think he'll be in the mix, but I do not believe.
I could even see Pence being VP again.
Yeah.
Why not? Just be VP again for Jim Jordan.
Jimbo Slice's conflict of interest. I think it's deeper than that, Jim. I think it just goes to straight up corruption and influence peddling. And she can be bought. She can be bought.
Quo.
Yeah. She can be bought.
The quid pro ho.
So,
what do you say? My other friend Zach in Israel said what?
Great deal.
Good deal.
So they're excited over there. Good.
Folks, we appreciate you. Hang around. The Hall of Famers in here next. Ralph Salazar coming in. There's no telling what Ralph might play. He plays all kinds of music. great guy, great friend. He's one of the leaders here at Magic 95.9.
Not one of the leaders.
He is in fact, he's the only guy at Magic 95.9. He's the guy.
The guy
The inflection matters, right? The guy. The guy.
in caps.
All caps. The guy.
We'll see y'all on Monday, folks. Have a
We
good
love you,
weekend.
folks. Be safe out
Bye.
there. Bye-bye. If they don't like it, don't blame us. I think we're okay.